Welcome back to another episode of Procurement Unplugged podcast powered by Zycus. I'm Marcus, your host, and today we're back with another super interesting topic. Today we're going to be talking about automating a mess. Just makes a faster mess, and we're going to talk about 4 common pitfalls to avoid. We have Mira Sethi joining us today. Mira has over 8 years of experience in procurement and supply chain management. She's worked with various Fortune 500 companies. She's led digital transformation initiatives, and she is a passionate advocate for leveraging technology to enhance procurement processes. Mira, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Marquise. I'm delighted to be here.
So Mira, let's jump right in. We've all heard, right, about the promise of AI and automation, especially in the world of procurement. It's almost become a given, that this is going to revolutionize the way we do things. But I think there's another side of that coin that we need to talk about, because what if in our rush to embrace all this new technology, all this automation, what if we're actually just making things worse?
That's a crucial point, Marquise.
Right.
There's a real risk there.
It's like we're trying to, pave a dirt road, but we haven't even smoothed out the bumps yet. We just end up with a faster mess.
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest pitfalls is that we often get seduced by the idea of speed. We think, okay, we can just automate this process. It'll be so much faster. We'll be so much more efficient. But if the process itself is fundamentally flawed, all we're doing is speeding up the creation of problems.
It's like putting a jet engine on a faulty old bus. It might move faster, but it's still a faulty old bus.
Yeah.
And now it's just going to break down even more spectacular.
Exactly. And it's not just about speed. It's about control, transparency, and ultimately outcomes. If you automate a chaotic process, you just end up with automated chaos.
So true.
Yeah.
So how do we avoid falling into this trap? What are some of the key pitfalls we should be aware of when considering procurement automation?
Well, I think the first pitfall is precisely what we've been talking about. Automating a mess just makes a faster mess. Organizations often rush to implement bots or basic AI without addressing the underlying inefficiencies in their processes. They think technology alone is the solution, but it's not. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
Yeah, and I've actually seen this happen, firsthand. I've worked with companies who have implemented all sorts of fancy automation tools, but because their underlying processes were so convoluted, they ended up creating more work for themselves. They had bots conflicting with each other, data getting lost in the shuffle, and a general sense of, just mayhem.
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly common. Another pitfall is focusing on automating individual tasks instead of looking at the process as a whole. For example, you might automate purchase order creation, but if your approval process is still manual and clunky, you're not really gaining much, you're just shifting the bottleneck.
Right. It's like, you build this amazing superhighway, but then it just kind of dumps you out onto a dirt road.
Exactly. The whole journey needs to be smooth and efficient. Another common pitfall is failing to address data silos. If you have information scattered across multiple systems and departments, automation can actually exacerbate the problem by amplifying inconsistencies and creating even more data fragmentation.
It's like trying to conduct an orchestra where everyone's playing a different tune.
Exactly. And finally, I think a lot of organizations underestimate the importance of change management when implementing automation. You need to bring your people along on the journey, make sure they understand the benefits and how their roles might evolve. If you don't, you risk resistance, confusion, and ultimately failure.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about having the right processes, the right data strategy, and the right people in place.
Precisely.
So Mira, given all of these pitfalls, how can organizations approach automation more strategically? What should they be thinking about?
Well, first and foremost, they need to take a step back and assess their current processes. Don't just automate for the sake of automation. Identify the real pain points, the bottlenecks, the areas where automation can truly add value.
Don't just pave the dirt road, fix the road first.
Exactly. And then think about the entire process end to end, not just individual tasks. How can automation streamline the flow of information, reduce manual touch points, and improve decision making?
So a holistic view.
Yes, a holistic view. And don't forget about data. Make sure you have a clear data strategy, that your data is clean, consistent, and accessible. This is critical for any automation initiative to succeed.
Data is the fuel that powers the automation engine.
Exactly. And finally, invest in change management. Communicate with your team, provide training, and address any concerns they may have. Remember, Automation is not about replacing people, it's about empowering them to do more strategic work.
So it's really about, thinking before you automate. It's about having a clear vision, a solid foundation, and a plan to bring everyone along on the journey.
Absolutely.
So Mira, before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you about a concept that I found really intriguing in the source material for this episode. And it's called agentic orchestration. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and why it's so important for the future of procurement?
Absolutely. Agentic orchestration is a really powerful concept that takes automation to the next level. It's about moving beyond just automating individual tasks and thinking about how different automated systems can work together intelligently and dynamically. It's about creating a truly orchestrated procurement ecosystem where information flows seamlessly, decisions are made in real time, and risks are proactively managed.
So it's not just about automating the steps, but it's about orchestrating the entire dance.
Exactly. And this is where I think AI and machine learning can really shine. By leveraging these technologies, we can create intelligent agents that can learn from data, adapt to changing conditions, and make smart decisions on our behalf.
So it's about building systems that are not just automated, but are actually intelligent and autonomous.
Precisely. And this is going to be critical for procurement organizations to stay competitive in the future because as the business environment becomes more complex and volatile, we're going to need systems that can keep pace, that can anticipate change, and that can make the best decisions possible in real time.
So agentic orchestration is really about creating a procurement function that's not just fast, but is also smart, agile, and resilient.
Exactly.
So Mira, this has been a fantastic conversation. So many insights. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been my pleasure, Marquise. Thank you for having me.
And for all of you listening, we hope you found this deep dive into the world of procurement automation valuable. As you embark on your own automation journey, remember to think strategically, to avoid the common pitfalls, and to embrace the power of agentic orchestration. Until next time, stay orchestrated and stay efficient. See you next time.